A KRFO interview right now with Medford senior Matthew Swanson, who last week had an incredible experience up at the State A speech contest at Lakeville North High School. He took the championship in a very difficult category, creative expression, and he joins us now. Congratulations, Matt. I bet that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. Thank you so much. It was a huge blast. The whole state tournament and the entire season was incredible.
And just your second year in speech, correct?
This is my second year in speech and my first year in creative expression. I did duo interpretation with a good friend of mine last year.
So for those who don't know, creative expression is the category that's 100% original, and there's a few of those, I guess, but you write your own. It's, what, a 9-minute speech? It used to be 8-minute speech. I think it's maybe 9 now, and it can be either serious or funny, but you're just basically responsible for coming up with a performance, correct?
Yeah, you just got to come up with the most creative piece you can, and whether it's dramatic or funny, they both have the same chance of moving on.
And tell us about your piece. It's called The Black Bag.
Yes, The Black Bag is a very comedic piece that I wrote. I got a lot of my inspiration for it from The Exorcist, Ghostbusters, Jim Carrey, and the Book of Mormon. And it's about two priests, one older priest and one newer, younger priest, and their first duty to go off with the younger priest is to do an exorcism. And they go out, and the priest is really nervous. It's his first time, and he doesn't know what to do, but the older priest assures him that everything's going to be okay, and that he'll guide him through the entire thing, and then they go off to exorcise the demon, and it's a not very traditional way among exorcising someone. It's involved with kind of talking to the demon and, you know, telling him evil things and trying to make him vulnerable, but then the demon kind of catches on, and he sucks up the older priest, like, into his body, and then the younger priest is like, what do I do? And you hear the priest's voice in the house, and he tells him to open this black bag, and in the black bag is a proton pack from Ghostbusters. Everything goes haywire, and he's like, what is this? This is a proton pack from Ghostbusters. What do I do? And he's like, just use it. I've done some tweaking on it. And yeah, and it's a great piece.
Now, Ghostbusters is my favorite movie of all time, but you're way too young for it. How did you latch on to Ghostbusters?
I latched on to Ghostbusters when I was like 5 or 6 years old, and my mom took me the movie. And I loved the movie ever since. And even number 2, everyone hates number 2, but I love number 2.
I don't hate it at all. It's not as good, but yeah, with that writing and those actors, you really can't go wrong. But the first one was nothing short of genius. I find that hilarious. Jim Carrey, also a great comedian, of course. Now the piece is, you know, my religion. Look, my theory is, if you can't laugh at it, then what's the point? Some people, you know, might feel like, wow, that's, you know, this is sacred, exorcisms and Catholicism and all that. How were you able to kind of balance, you know, getting some laughs out of that stuff with then at the same time, you know, trying to be sensitive to the fact that, no, I'm not suggesting that Catholicism, you know, isn't important? Yeah,
no, and throughout the season, no judges have really taken it offensively. I think I've treated the topic very well, and they loved it. I think everyone that has seen it has loved it. And I've treated it with a lot of care and respect, mostly because I would kind of consider myself more on the spiritual side of things for being a teenager in this generation. But I put some, you know, innuendo in there, some mild innuendo in there, nothing offensive. It was all respect. It was all very respectful, and I don't know. I kind of knew what I was doing. I know what's offensive and what's not. Again, I'm just like you. I love to laugh at things. I don't take a lot of things too seriously. I know what to do because I know what's offensive and what's not. I watch a lot of comedians. I watch a lot of Comedy Central, so I know what's offensive and what's not. And I don't know. It's just kind of yeah. I don't know. I like new.
To win this title, you had quite a road. I mean, you took 4th place in the subsection tournament. You took 3rd place, which was the last qualifying spot in the section tournament to make it to state. Then at state, you end up in a 3-way tie for the final spot to make the final round, and you won the tiebreaker there, so you just barely get into the final round, and all of a sudden you've got 5 judges, and the numbers add up where you get a couple of second place rankings, and you add those 5 numbers, and you end up with the lowest by 1, and you're wearing a blue ribbon. I mean, that's an unbelievable ride.
Yeah, it was so intense. The entire journey is incredible. It really was. When it came down to it all, like, I honestly believe it was God, and that's what it comes down to for me. But really, like, this entire season, like I said to you earlier, my speech, my script, and my performance have all just completely evolved. Like, I knew what I should, how I should move differently, what joke I should add in, or what material I should add in to bring out the moral. It's just evolved. I've taken feedback from my friends who have seen it. I've taken feedback from other kids from schools that have seen it. I just did everything that I could to make it the best. And when state came around, we did some final modifications before first round that morning, and after those modifications, that was the best my speech was going to get, and I couldn't think of any other ways to make it better, and I just did my best that day, and I came back with the first.
And so we're talking with Matthew Swanson, senior at Medford High School, state speech champion in creative expression here in 2016. I got to believe that's Medford's first state speech championship, or am I wrong about that?
Yes, sir, it is. I am Medford's first speech champion.
Yeah, very congratulations on that. This is just very difficult to do, and you can find this speech on YouTube, right? Tell us how to do that.
If you go on YouTube and you're really interested in seeing this speech, if you type in the search bar Matthew Tiger Swanson, all one word, you should be able to find my speech immediately.
And next year you are headed to an Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City. You're a Steele County boy, and you're going to go off to New York City. Tell us about this and how you came to that idea.
Well, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Obviously, I kind of knew what I wanted to do throughout high school. I wanted to do something in mass communication. But then, like, last year, I just kind of felt like I was lying to myself. Like, what I really want to do is I want to be an actor. And I told my mom that, and my mom was the most supportive person in the world. She was, like, looking for more colleges than I was after I told her that. And she told me to check out the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. And I was like, okay, cool. And I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, this is a pretty decent school. And, what I really want to do is, like, I want to kind of go for, like, New York University or something cool like that. And then come along October, I go out to visit my aunt and uncle with a good friend of mine, and we do some college visits. And I visited the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, Juilliard, New York University, and a community college near my aunt and uncle. And after I visited the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, I was like, oh my God, I need to be here. This vibe I'm getting is wonderful, all that. But it's looking like that I'm going to have to defer for a year, save up money, and if I do that, I will be living with my aunt and uncle in New Jersey. They will be paying for my classes in New York City for writing and improvisation comedy, and I'll be making very many trips to New York.
You're ready for all that, huh?
Yeah, I'm ready for the craziness.
All right, well, you mentioned some of the professional inspirations. Tell us about your coaches there at Medford or some others that may have helped you win this state title with this piece here that all kind of came together in the last few weeks.
Oh, God, I think so many people had a part in my speech. So it really came down to my best friend, Caleb Wagner, who gave me, like, one of the kicker jokes in there. It's just a few words. It's like, I'm just yanking your rosary. And, like, people ate that joke up. And then Betsy Cole, my speech coach, she would just, vomit ideas on me. And she would just be like, try this. And then I'd be like, I like that. Let's do this. And then we'd do that. And then I'd get feedback from my own team. And my own team has so much, supported me so much. Like, I had kids on my team that would final at every single tournament, and I wouldn't final at every tournament, And they didn't really, say much, but, like, silently they were inspiring me to become better. I just wanted to reach on their level. And with their support, they kind of built me up. And, yeah, and, you know, Miss Goblish, the head speech coach here, had a lot of great input. And Rebecca Moore, another speech coach and teacher here, had a lot of great input as well.
Well, that's just incredible. You're going to live on in Medford lore forever. You can't do any better than winning a state championship. And, you know, this is not like some sports where you've got 4 or 5 classes. This is 2 classes. You're competing against thousands of kids to win it all at state is pretty awesome. Matthew Swanson. Just one more thought. You know, creative expression, you mentioned you want to go to school for acting. To win that thing, you got to write and act. Obviously, you're good at both.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, like, I've been in theater here since 9th grade. I never really liked theater or musicals or anything like that before 9th grade. But 9th grade is just kind of when it all went down, and I've just been building momentum since. And I like writing. I like writing stories. Went back to 8th grade for that, when my English teacher would have us write just random stories and then present them in front of the class and then grade them. You know, so that's probably a huge thing that influenced it. And I like making people laugh, and I like to make people think, and I like to make people I like to make them feel good. So that's really what it comes down to.
All right, well, good luck the rest of your senior year here. Enjoy graduation, and then good luck at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City here in the future. State speech champion, first place, 2016 in Creative Expression Class A, Matthew Swanson from Medford. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, and can I just say one thing before we go?
Go right ahead, Matt.
So, just for those who may, think that, like, innuendo, Catholicism, and stuff like that, I want to make it very clear that in my speech, the big moral of the message, the big moral of my story is very, very solid. It's all about finding your calling and following it with all of your heart, and listening to that voice in your heart, whether you believe that it's, the voice in your heart, or if you believe it's God. So even though it kind of teases at church stuff, it also kind of pays homage.
Hey, Matt, trust me, you don't have to explain yourself, okay? Then you can't please everybody, but I think people are going to enjoy it. So go to YouTube, type in Matthew Tiger Swanson, check it out for yourself. State speech champion Matthew Swanson here on KRFO.